exactly a year after its release, OM-1 Mark II. Does this OM system flagship camera still hold up? Macro Four Thirds format somehow is overshadowed by APS-C and similarly priced full frame cameras, but this is a format that is not dead yet. It's a format that has got a loyal fan base and also a camera format that can offer a lot of benefits over the seemingly better cameras. In this video, I'm going to focus on real-world use instead of the specs. I'll tell you why this camera should be on your radar, and most importantly, I'll show you what it can do. All the samples in this video have been shot using 12 to 40mm f2.8, 90mm f3.5 macro, and 150 to 600mm OM system lenses. All the photos you will see will have which lens was used, camera settings, and which Lightroom preset was used to edit them visible at the bottom left of the screen. Okay, let's not make this any longer than it has to be. Let's go. Firstly, after using this camera for a while, I must tell you that I am seriously surprised. I've heard good things about it, but until I've actually used it and seen the results it can produce, I didn't know how good it actually is. Best things about it: it is built like a tank with literally unmatched weather sealing and build quality. I have a second-hand, truly abused copy here and it looks brand new. No paint chipping, not much anyway, loose buttons or anything like that. Also, as a camera that is advertised as a perfect tool for wildlife photographers, it can really take any weather, and I mean heavy rain will not stop it, or it should not stop it. Computational modes, one of those camera features that is very often omitted. This can do smart things like handheld high-res photo. Camera combines multiple images to create super resolution file, 80 million pixels, 14-bit RAW or JPEG or both. Great for shooting landscape or when you want to print super large. Focus stacking. This could be a game changer for macro photography. You can customize it to your liking and camera can automatically move the focus point to capture multiple macro images for you to be able to combine them all into one to compensate for super shallow depth of field when using a macro lens. Live ND and grad ND filters, something that a lot of people are begging other brands to incorporate into their cameras. OM system have nailed it here. When it comes to landscape photography, when you want to use lower shutter speed to blur motion, for example, with this camera you can with built-in 7 levels of strength electronic ND filters. No need of screwing on and off physical filters. Also gradual filters, 3 of them, great for dark in the sky in landscape photography, for example. Very useful. Those are only for photography and not working with video, unfortunately. High-speed photography. In paparazzi mode, you can shoot 120 photos per second with electronic shutter, and that's in full resolution RAW. 50 frames per second with AF tracking with blackout-free viewfinder as well. Maybe things not very exciting for everyone, but for wildlife or sports photographers, this is a dream come true. Excellent stabilization. I always thought that Lumix is the best on the market for this until I have shot with this. Tripod-like steady stabilization with 150 to 600mm lens and 1.4 times extender, fully zoomed in. That's 1700mm full frame equivalent. This is simply mind-blowing. Okay, this lens has also stabilization built in, so double whammy here, but overall I have never seen anything like this before with any camera. Autofocus performance, you don't really hear much about it. There's no noise about OM-1's autofocus because it simply works very well. Obviously birds tracking with eye tracking, but also human, animal, cars, planes and trains. Fast, snappy and reliable. It's just something that you don't have to worry about or talk about. I'm here with Bill. We're doing some street photography. I'm shooting with a 12 to 40mm and we are breaking all the rules today. We are in a coffee shop taking pictures of the people outside. Usually street photographers, they are outside taking pictures of people in the coffee shops. We do the opposite because we can. What a lot of people don't like or are prejudiced about when it comes to this camera. Still an MFT sensor. In comparison to a full frame equivalent, it struggles in low light. However, this is a new generation of MFT sensor and it is miles better overall than what they used to be. But still, you can't push it too hard and expect miracles. In some situations, when you need faster shutter speeds or simply brighter results, I've been pushing it up to ISO 8000 and still got totally usable results, especially that there is so much you can do to clean high ISO noise easily in post these days. We're here taking pictures of birds in Martinmere This is the weirdest thing ever because this is opened and that bird is sitting there. He can fly out anywhere he likes. He can land in that pond if he wants to, or in this pond. But the organizers of this place, they have put the sign for this bird to be here, and it's here. Please explain this to me. Expensive for MFT. Micro Four Thirds used to be known for being cheaper and smaller than the full frame equivalent. In this case of this camera, it's not the case. The lenses are still smaller for sure, but the camera and its price are similar to some full frame cameras. This is a flagship, all singing and dancing MFT camera though. A camera that is very hard to pick on or find faults with it. It's a tool capable of professional results. I think the price here is almost irrelevant. Well, it is relevant if you are counting the pennies, but if you don't compare the size of the sensor but actual specs and performance to other high-end cameras, this is worth its price tag. Pro price. Right now, at the time of recording this video, it retails for £2,149 here in UK. There's an offer going on this month, but they do have very often promotional offers on their website, so you can save some money on the usual retail price. Check the affiliate links below in the description. Lenses as well. This 150 to 600mm, it's not cheap, but considering what it can do and who it is for, wildlife or sports photographer, good value for money. Incredible range and a relatively small package. With this lens I can check if there's an American flag on the moon tonight. A lot of people say that this camera is too expensive, but is it really? Although there is a good amount of lens available from Olympus OM system and also MFT Lumix, same mount, there's not many third-party options available, certainly not autofocusing ones. It would be good to see lenses from brands like Sigma or Tamron making Micro Four Thirds lenses in the future. Maybe they will, who knows. Video features, although it can produce 4K 60p footage in 10-bit log, being a flagship camera, I think it should offer more. Lack of high-end formats like Apple ProRes, internal recording, or simply full-size HDMI socket might put some hybrid shooters off it, but that stabilization and AF tracking still make it a little bit better when comparing it to some similarly priced APS-C or full-frame cameras. Who is this camera actually for? Obvious one, wildlife and bird photographers who need fast autofocus and weather sealing. Although I have shot some wildlife with it and the 150 to 600mm lens, I am not a wildlife photographer. It is kind of known as a camera for bird photographers and it is really well suited for it, but it is so much more than that. Paired with right lens, I love this 12 to 40mm, which makes it a perfect everyday camera for street photography or even vlogging. This is a camera ideal for traveling with, especially if you want to venture to humid or wet climate. The weather sealing of this camera is superb and it could make it a must-have for those times when most of cameras would simply fail. Also, when the overall weight is important, like when traveling, the smaller sensor size doubles the focal number of your lens. So lenses like this, which is 24 to 80mm full frame equivalent, are half size of those for full frame with the same range, covering the same range. This 150 to 600mm is 300 to 1200mm full frame equivalent. This focal range would need wheels if there was one like this available for full frame cameras. Big, but taking this into consideration, not that big after all. Macro photography for the same reason. Standard macro focal length like 90mm gives you 1 to 2 magnification 2 times, unlike standard 1:1 full frame equivalent, and you can add a teleconverter for up to 4 times super macro capabilities. These are main factors why MFT is still very popular, and those using it can overlook sometimes that slightly higher digital noise it can produce. This is a camera for those who understand the benefits of that crop size sensor or are already heavily invested in it. Final verdict. This camera has really surprised me. There's a lot of cameras on the market, a lot of full frame cameras that are similarly priced as this, but the general perception and the lack of understanding why this camera and Micro Four Thirds make more sense for certain photographic applications make it less popular. Because of that and the keyboard warriors, this camera has somehow got not favorable reputation. A lot of potential buyers, especially those new to photography, will compare the cameras by price alone, not actually by what they can do and how. This camera for sure can compete with full frame cameras. The spec is very good, and when used right, with the right lens, for the right job, very capable camera. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.